The police, they had him. One of them grabbed the briefcase from the wrecked bike. "Open am," one shouted. Tunde squeezed his eyes shut, bracing for the sight of drug packages or stacks of stolen dollars. He was finished. The bus horn, a long, deafening blast, was the sound of Tunde's triumph. He stood by the idling vehicle, the red dust of his village coating his new, shiny shoes. In his left hand, he held a brown leather look folder. In his right, he held his mother's hand. She was dancing, a joyful, shuffling dance that kicked up more dust, her wrappers a blur of green and gold. "My son," she sang, her voice rich and loud for all to hear. "My Tunde, the first in our line to hold the book paper." Tunde laughed, his heart so full it felt like it might burst from his chest. He was 22. He was a graduate of OAU with a second-class upper in business administration, and he was going to Lagos. "I will come back in 1 year, Mama," he promised, raising the folder high. The entire village was there, cheering. "1 year, and I will build you a house of brick. No more mud, no more thatch. A house of brick with a zinc roof and glass windows." The cheer that went up was thunderous. He was their son, their hope, their proof that a different life was possible. He embraced his mother, kissed his little sister Kemi, and boarded the bus. He took a window seat, placing the folder on his lap. He did not let go of it for the entire 7-hour journey. As the bus rumbled past the "Welcome to Lagos" sign, its concrete letters stained with rust and grime, Tunde's heart beat with the rhythm of one word: success. 14 months later, the calloused, grimy hand that held the buzzing phone did not look like his own. The nails were broken, the knuckles scarred, and the lines of his palm were permanently filled with black grease. "Tunde, Tunde, can you hear me?" Tunde's sister Kemi's voice was teeny and stretched with panic. "I can hear you," he said, his own voice a hoarse croak. He stood on a rickety plant bridge in Makuku, the floating slum. The air was thick with the smell of the lagoon, a sour mix of salt, sewage, and wood smoke. Below him, canoes glided silently through the dark, trash-strewn water. "It's Mama," Kemi wept. "She collapsed in the market. Tunde, she's sick. The doctor at the clinic says it is her heart. She's asking for you. Tunde, she needs the good hospital in Ibadan. She needs money." Tunde's stomach twisted into a cold, hard knot. "How much?" 200,000 naira. "For the deposit. Tunde, please, you are in Lagos. You are the only one who can." He pressed the end button, cutting off her plea. He couldn't breathe. He looked at his grimy hands, then at the few crumpled naira notes in his other pockets. 200,000 naira. He might as well have been asking for 200 million. The shame was a physical weight, heavier than any bag of cement he had ever carried. His first 6 months in Lagos had been a blur of humiliation. He had stayed with a distant cousin in a single room in Surulere with 5 other people. He had worn his one good suit, the graduation suit, every day, his shiny folder under his arm. He walked from Victoria Island to Ikoyi, from one glass tower to the next. No experience. "We are not hiring. Leave your CV, we will call you." They never called. His one great hope was Chief Adele, a big man from his own village, a name spoken in awed whispers. It took Tunde 3 weeks to get a 5-minute meeting. The chief, vast and sweating in an air-conditioned office that looked like a palace, had clapped Tunde on the back. "Our son, from our very village, with the book paper," he boomed. "Excellent. Leave your folder. Leave it. I will make one call, just one. You will hear from me by Friday." Tunde floated out of the office. He waited by the phone. Friday came and went. A week, a month. Chief Adele never called. His cousin's patience ran out. Tunde sold his suit. He sold his good shoes. He sold his wristwatch. He ended up on a construction site hauling 50 kilo bags of cement for 12 hours a day. His soft graduate hands blistering, then bleeding, then turning to leather. He was fired for dropping a bag. He was sitting on a gutter, head in his hand, when a man on an Okada, motorcycle taxi, pulled up. Oga, book, you no go chop? The man, Bayo, laughed without humor. Na street you dey o. You fit drive? Tunde could. He had been driving his father's old motorcycle in the village since he was 12. Bayo got him a bike on hire purchase. And so, Tunde the graduate became Tunde the Okada driver. He moved to the one-room plank shack in Makoko. It was all he could afford. His certificate, the shiny folder now warped and yellowed by the damp, was tucked under his sleeping mat. It was a relic of a different life, a different man. Tunde found Bayo by the water, smoking a cigarette. I need money, Tunde said, flat. Real money, now. Bayo looked at him, his eyes appraising. How much is real? 200,000. Bayo whistled, a low, sharp sound. Now wow, your village queen don't catch you? My mother is sick. Bayo's expression didn't soften. It just became calculating. He took a long drag. I get one job tonight, but it no be regular. I don't care. No, you go care, Bayo said, jabbing the cigarette at him. This na big man levels. You no go ask questions. You go just drive. You go pick up a package. You go drop it off. They go give you 100K. You said 200K. I said they go give you 100K. I go give you the other 100K from my own pocket because I know you and because you owe me. Tunde's blood ran cold, but the image of his mother's face, pale and sick, burned hotter. When? Midnight. At midnight, Tunde was on a dark street in Apapa. A black SUV with tinted windows pulled up. A man in a sharp suit got out, holding a small, heavy briefcase. He didn't look at Tunde. To this address in Ikoyi, do not stop for anyone, do not be late. If you are, don't bother coming, just throw yourself in the lagoon. He handed Tunde the briefcase. He strapped it to his bike's luggage rack. His hands were shaking. He drove. He drove like a man possessed, weaving through the light midnight traffic. The cool night air felt electric against his skin. This was it, 100,000 naira. His mother would go to the hospital. He just had to get to Ikoyi. He was 2 streets away from the address when he saw the blue flashing lights in his mirror. Police. His blood turned to ice. Do not stop for anyone. He twisted the throttle, the Okada's engine screaming in protest. He shot down a side street, the police siren wailing behind him. He was a good driver. The village and the streets of Lagos had made him one. He took a sharp right, then a left into a narrow alley, thinking he could lose them. He burst out of the alley onto a main road and slammed on his brakes. A car, turning, blocked his path. He swerved violently, clipping the car's bumper. The Okada went down, skidding across the asphalt in a shower of sparks. Tunde was thrown, his head hitting the pavement. Dazed, he heard shouts. Strong hands grabbed him, hauling him to his feet. The police, they had him. One of them grabbed the briefcase from the wrecked bike. Open arm, one shouted. Tunde squeezed his eyes shut, bracing for the sight of drug packages or stacks of stolen dollars. He was finished. Oga, wetin be this? The policeman said, confused. Na just paper. Tunde opened his eyes. The briefcase was open on the ground. It was full of documents. Thick official-looking papers, land deeds. A sleek black Mercedes pulled up. The back door opened. A very big man stepped out, his agbada river a white in the dark. It was Chief Adili. He looked at the police, at the documents on the ground, and then at Tunde, who was being held by 2 officers. The chief's eyes, blank at first, slowly widened in recognition. A cold, deep fury settled on his features. You, he whispered, the word full of disbelief. We have him, Chief, the police captain said, saluting. You stupid boy, Chief Adele said, walking towards Tunde. He pointed at the document. You were stealing from me. Tunde's mind reeled. Stealing from him? Then Bayo must have worked for a rival, using Tunde as a disposable mule to steal from the chief. He had been set up from the start. In the crash, his pockets had emptied. Lying on the ground next to a pool of leaking petrol was his wallet, a few crumpled naira notes, and the yellowed, warped folder. Chief Adele saw it. He bent down, a great effort, and picked up the folder. He opened it. He looked at the certificate, then back at Tunde's bleeding, desperate face. "My mother," Tunde choked out, the tears finally coming, hot and shameful. The fight went out of him. He hung limply in the officer's grasp. Chief Adejo was silent for a full minute. The only sound was the radio crackle from the police car. He was a shark, a man who had built an empire on the ruins of other men's dreams. But he was also from Tunde's village. He had seen that same hope in Tunde's eyes in his office, and he was looking at the proof of it, stained and ruined in his hand. He handed the briefcase to his driver. He made a short call on his phone. "He is an idiot," he said into the phone, his eyes locked on Tunde. "But he is one of ours. Let him go." He hung up. The police officers released Tunde, who nearly fell.
"You are finished in this city," the chief said, his voice now quiet, but harder than any shout. "You will not drive an Okada, you will not haul cement, you will not walk anywhere. You are my shame." He reached into his pocket and pulled out a small wad of notes. He threw them at Tunde's feet. It was just enough for the bus fare. "You will take that money and you will go home. You will go back to your village and you will tell them you failed." Tunde stared at him, uncomprehending. But, my mother." "I have sent word to the hospital in Ibadan," the chief said, turning away. "Your mother will be seen. The bill will be paid." He paused, one hand on his car door. "She will be cured. But you are the price." He got into the car and it sped away, leaving Tunde alone on the street with his wrecked Okada and the scattered remnants of his life. The next morning, Tunde sat at the back of a bus heading out of Lagos. He was bruised, his clothes torn, his heart a hollow aching void. His mother would live, but she would be cared for by the charity of the man who had despised him, a charity bought with his eternal shame. The brick house would never be built. The promise was broken. He was a failure. As the bus rumbled past the "Welcome to Lagos" sign, he looked at the city he had come to conquer. He took out his phone. He looked at Kemi's number. He thought of his mother. He pulled the SIM card from the slot. With a flick of his grimy fingers, he threw it out the window. It disappeared into the scrubland by the side of the highway. He was not just severed from the city. He was severed from the man he was supposed to be. The Echo Dream was dead. And Tunde, the graduate, was going home to be buried.